everyone. We're super excited to be back. We have a special series that we are kicking off today called The Within Podcast. Wish I Would Have Known. I think this was born out of the fact that we are continuing to talk about how do we create community within all of us, right? And the three of us on the phone have created our own little community. We have all had our own story, and part of our journey is we keep saying to ourselves, man, I wish I would have known. A few months ago, Heidi and I have been talking a lot since our journey ended at a former employer, and we keep, Heidi kept saying like, man, I just wish I would have known, whether all the things, right? Not just your health or not just your work or not just your family, like all the things like, man, I wish I would have known. So I said to Heidi, I was like, man, you should write a book. Like there's so many things that we keep talking about. And so we are launching it. Special series, part of the Within podcast is going to be solely dedicated to, man, I wish I would have known. So we're going to, yeah, right. So I think the best part is just the people we've met along the way, and the wish I would have knowns are so many, so wide, so broad. So today we're going to kick off with the first one. Heidi's going to kick us off with her first, I wish I would have known.
Yes, like Ali said, it can run a lot of different gamuts, and I've got a running list of them. So today I'm going to start with just, the one that probably led to the wish I would have known is, it's okay to ask questions.
Is it?
Weird concept.
Yeah.
So many questions.
Yeah.
Be curious.
As a kid, I was always the one that was like, you talk too much or you ask too many questions. And I kind of took that as, as a negative, and I had to be quiet because I got in trouble. That would be like the thing that my teachers would always tell my parents is she talks too much. She's always asking questions. But it is something, especially midlife, that I've realized. And I did have a couple leaders that, did tell me eventually, you ask good questions. And if you think about it, asking questions, while you might be curious, because I'm a very curious person, the very question that you're asking is the very question that someone else is wondering and just not willing to ask. And so I'm going to be the one that's always willing to ask the question, and it might seem dumb, but I'm okay with that, and
no question's a dumb question.
Well, right? That's what, I wish I would have known,
Yeah, right.
And so it really just benefits all of us if we just, ask that question. But I will say, and I will end with my kind of this, I wish I would have known. One of the best questions that I have learned to ask, because I am vulnerable enough to do it, is what question or questions should I be asking that I'm not? Because I don't always know, and that was probably an example of what started me on the I wish I would have known journey with my own health care, my personal care, is because when I would go to the primary care physician, I didn't know what questions to be asking to help me understand what I'm doing. Instead, they would just start diagnosing me and giving me medication. And I'm like, no, I don't really believe that that's what it is. But I didn't know what questions that I should have been asking.
So I'm curious, when you get pushback, or when people like, what does that look like? Like, what do you have an example of a time that somebody kind of told you to shut up or like not ask the question? Well, we're being really honest here, right?
I think part of it too is just I can belabor the question. So in business meetings, sometimes I would just be the one that kept on asking more and more questions. But isn't there something around, you usually get to the root cause by asking a question 7 times? And so I believe that is the case. And so I think most of that was in the business setting, where I just felt like I was kind of hushed. And maybe it's because I was a female leader and men didn't want to always listen to it, but ironically, it also was the male leaders that told me that I asked good questions, and then I need to do more of it. So I think that kind of, and I don't know, my parents are always like, okay, you just need to listen and learn, instead of asking the questions.
Well, and I think that really lends itself to like asking good questions, open-ended questions, but then also listening to the answers, right? Yes. And I think sometimes people are so like thinking about what's the next question versus like sitting back and listening to what the answer is. I think people think that if they're asking more questions, they're not listening to the answers. But I've been in a lot of meetings with you, whether it's business or friendship or whatever, and your questions are always authentic to like, oh, she listened to me and now she's asking more deeper questions. And I think sometimes people want to stay on that surface level. They don't want to answer those like deep questions, which is why I love this community, which is I can ask as many questions and be authentic as I need to be to really understand what's happening and why, like why the heck is Heidi telling me to do that? Oh, well, if I ask another question, or why is she asking me so many questions? Well, she really wants to understand, like, is there anything else that could be happening in my life that might be affecting how whatever is happening is, coming out?
Yeah. Seek to understand.
Yeah.
That really comes down to just seek to understand.
I do like the authentic, like Ali, the comment you made. I used to, in the company I worked in prior to this, like we would train salespeople all the time, right? And their big thing was, get curious, ask the questions. And so just what Ali said, you'd go on these meetings with the new salespeople and they'd be busy writing their answers down and asking the questions, and they would ask questions sometimes. And I'm like, shit, did you not just listen to what that person said? Like, and I just wanted to like crawl in a hole sometimes. And it's like, don't do it because you have to, or you feel like do it because you're genuinely curious. Like what, like I've said in other podcasts, like everybody has a story, whether it's business, life, both, there's stories all along the way. So actually like stop and care and like ask the second question authentically.
So true. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you enough how many times it seems like people just are not really thinking about the answer. They're just thinking about what's the next question I have to ask. So I think asking questions can be super powerful. At the same time, if you're not actually listening to the questions, it can be annoying. And maybe you are asking too many questions.
I think asking questions is how I've gotten where I am today, like, especially when you think of like the potential within and my health journey and all of that. Like if I would have just stopped at the first answer, like, man, where would I be today? So
probably not here with us. Probably
I'm glad I know now.
That's right.
That it's okay.
Aren't you glad you know now?
Yeah.
And I do love when I ask a question, and that's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that, which is fair. I mean, we don't always have the answers, even in our, our specialty or expertise. And it's fair to just be vulnerable and answer that question, such as, I really don't know, but I'll find out for you.
Aren't you glad you know now?